Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Fist and Jawa Save the Universe. I am, of course, Fist-25, and we're going to take a look at one of the new ships that just came out at Invictus launch week. I am a couple days late in making the video. I was out of town, and so I had to rush and rent one and ended up buying one. This is a brand new ship by Anvil Aerospace. It is called the Asgard. Although in my org, we've been calling it the Asgard. But anyway, it is sort of like the Valkyrie 2.0. It is very Valkyrie-like, although not as heavily armored. It is meant to be not so much a troop carrier, but it's meant to carry vehicles and deploy your vehicles on the battlefield with a lot of pilot-controlled weapons and one turret. It's really meant to have kind of a crew of two. It can fit four pretty handily. And I have a Anvil Spartan loaded up in there, which is a big ground vehicle. I didn't want to put the Nova tank in there because it bounces around and blows things up, because ground vehicles kind of suck right now. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this ship and review it, and we're going to get to that right after I roll the intro. All right, so here we go with the Anvil Valkyrie. I do have a concierge paint applied to it. It's the copper paint. The stock paint is white and red, kind of the Anvil standard there. It does look like a giant Valkyrie. I don't know about giant, but it looks like a larger version of the Valkyrie. Obviously, that's where the design inspiration came from. It is actually... I know this was a strategy by CIG. I'm sure it's currently priced less than the Valkyrie. So you can't actually CCU your Valkyrie up to this ship. You have to melt it and maybe get this ship, or melt another ship and get this ship. But it is something we need. The only real ships we have that carry large vehicles like a ballista or a Spartan or a Centurion or a tank would be the C2, M2, A2 line from Crusader, large cargo haulers, and things like a Polaris and Idris, ships like that. Those are the only ones that fit the mold right now, until the Asgard came out here. It is, as I mentioned, very Valkyrie inspired. It's a cool looking ship. The Valkyrie's a cool design. The Asgard's a really nice design. It's got VTOL thrusters over here. This thruster will rotate after it comes up, and this thruster, or engine I should say, will rotate after you lift up as well, which kind of gives you a really cool way to come down onto the battlefield, so to speak. Got a couple sliding doors here that will open up that the crew can fire a weapon out of or jump out of. It looks like we can open them up on the ground. I don't know if we can. Oh, we can mantle up these things into the ship, just like the Valkyrie. So that's good. That's nice. That's an outside thing as we move around the starboard side of the ship. We're looking for different ports, portals, things like that. It does have, I think, 6 pilot-facing guns. Here's 2 of them. Let me bring up its stats here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Is there 7? There looks like there's a turret with dual size 3s as well. And that may be the man turret. The man turret has dual size 4s on it, and then the pilot has 7 total guns. One of them's a turret. We'll have to get in there and play around, but there's definitely some up top. There's a lot of forward facing firepower here, so those guns up here, these guns up here, probably these guns right here, but that's just 6 of them, so I don't know if Erkul's wrong or whatnot. We'll have to check it out. Gonna move around the port side. I imagine most of the stuff on the ship is in the interior. I know all the engineering spaces are. Just looking for anything exterior that we can possibly get to, and I'm not seeing a whole lot. It's also very dark. And here, there is on both sides, there is the sliding door that kind of slides away that has a gun and things like that, and we'll check that out as we get more inside the ship. It is an alternate way to enter and exit the ship. But I didn't see anything on the outside, so I don't quite know where the fuel port is. There's also 2 engines in the back, which provide it forward thrust while you are in VTOL mode. So there is ramp access button on the left and the right. I see, I just see hatch. So, I don't know, maybe they didn't think about the refueling on this, I'm not sure. But we'll go ahead and open the ramp. We all like ramps in Star Citizen. And we climb up the ramp, and you can see there is an Anvil Spartan in here. And we'll go ahead and close up the ramp. It's pretty fast open and close. Got a cool little mechanic up there where this top door kind of closes separately. We can see our vehicle here is bouncing quite a bit, as vehicles tend to do, but it's not terrible. There is quite a bit of cargo space in here, 180 SCU, which is pretty darn significant compared to the Valkyrie's recently buffed 90 SCU. So I believe you can also stack 4 high in here, which is a big deal. And this whole thing down here is gridded. And so we fit this huge vehicle in here, and we are able to open up the back door to it so we can load up if we need to and just drive straight on out. This is the troop carrier part of this vehicle. But if you want to see a guide on that vehicle, I've done one in the past. So moving around the interior of the ship, it does have quite a high ceiling. CIG mentioned it kind of looked like a church or a cathedral, which you need because that's how you fit in tanks and vehicles like this that are so tall. This is very Valkyrie-like, the upper deck here, and 2 side doors. I did check over here. I didn't see. There is inventory. It looks like 750 micro SCU. And there's probably one over on this side as well. So yeah, 2 different storage lockers over here. And then we have, we can open up the rear ramp from either side back here at this door, and then we can open up the side door. We should be able to deploy this weapon, grip it. And so as we're coming in, you know, we still can't zoom in with these things, but we can shoot down here, and that's kind of a big deal. I'm not sure how we get this thing back. Maybe we hold down F and yeah, we retract, and there we go. So it's now back where it belongs. We have that on either side. So again, very Valkyrie-like. Moving in on the lower deck here to the engineering compartments, we'll call them. Here is a drop seat right here. So this is where I said you could kind of have a crew of 4. You can rotate people out or whatnot, but there's a seat here, and there's a seat on the other side as well. So these would be for people who are possibly doing engineering work. We can see component accesses back here. There's a cooler. Then we have a shield and a power plant back here. There's a lot of shields on this ship. We have a fire extinguisher, future engineering gameplay. And we'll go into the other engineering compartment before the turret. Over here we have another cooler, and maybe just the cooler. Another shield and another power plant. So neat that we have the components right there. The ship should have 4 size 2 shields though. Well, I'm not sure where the other ones are at necessarily. I guess they could be over here possibly. There's a fuse panel right here in the, I guess we call it the cargo area. And I only see one, and it is on the port side. There may be more components up here as well. But as we round the corner and turn towards the back, here's our life support access. And I think it's just this one panel, nothing in there. Another fuse panel on the bottom here. And we have more. We have our jump drive and our quantum access. I did upgrade that to a size 2 Chimera drive. And over here, the gravity generator. One day future gameplay. Now, I don't see any other components back here. Okay. Here is the turrets. So it's very similar to the Valkyrie. There is a turret, and then as I thought, this is the bottom turret. And let's see if we can power it on. Power is right there. Okay, so we do have 2 CF447 Rhino laser repeaters, which is nice, and this thing will go all the way down. Oh, we actually launched the ship. By moving our guns down, it lifted the ship up. Interesting. But quite a bit of firepower up here, though, you know. A pretty standard turret there. And that is the tour of the bottom deck. Let's make our way over here. And we'll go up the ladder ladder up to the top deck. Okay. So up here we have a room to the left and a room to the right. We'll go to the starboard side first. In the starboard side room we have the basic bunks here. We have this is where it gets a crew of 2 officially. We have one on the top and one on the bottom, so you can sleep. And this should be the head over here on the port side. And again, the mirror doesn't function like some of the other mirrors in the game. And a toilet and a shower. So standard toilet access. Okay. That's it for that. Moving inside, we have food access. It looks like a very small little galley here. I think they call it the chow line or something like that. And then areas like gun racks up here where we can put some of our guns. Things like this this tractor beam. So I can throw that tractor beam in there. And we can put other guns up there. We have places for our pistols, and looks like a larger gun rack up here as well. So we can put some larger guns up there. And then I think these are going to be suit lockers up here. So I still didn't see where the other shields were going to be, but maybe we can only access the 2 of them. And then moving forward on this ship, we will access, there's another fire extinguisher. I didn't see any relay panels up here, so there might just be 2 fuse panels up here. And we can enter the pilot seat of the Asgard. Updated look, looks very nice. We'll go ahead and turn on the ship.
All systems online.
All right, it sounds really good. It does sound really good. When you turn on the ship, you can see that these VTOL engines go into their forward flight configuration. We can hit K to go back into a VTOL configuration. And you can see that nice copper look. Looks a lot like the Anvil Liberator. It's a little less orange than the Liberator, but pretty cool paint indeed. And then you can see the missile racks up here ready to fire. And interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's check out the cockpit here. So first off, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 MFDs for the pilot here. No eject button that I can see. Let's look for buttons in here. So we have power on and off. Nothing else really on the right. We have engine on and open exterior. So we have an open exterior and press to unlock at this button, which is and an exit. So it's kind of all you need. Really, it's the basics here. There's no quote unquote gold pass. I mean, it's up to current standards, but like there's not a lot of buttons here you're gonna press to mess with your radar and other things like that. Let's look at power over here on the left. Here is our default power look. So currently I need to pop out of the seat actually and put on my helmet so we can get an MFD cast going on. Here we go. Okay, so now we're actually going to have the cast of, looks like in default power configurations, which this switched over to shields and this switched over to power management. Interesting how that works with your helmet. But we have 54 shots with 2 pips of power. We'll go ahead and increase the guns all the way in SCM mode, and that's going to give us a lot of shots. 107 shots in SCM mode. And as we shoot, you can see that's a lot of firepower. I kind of like how that's dedicated there. And you can see that that's 6 guns for the pilot. Not sure where Erkul got. It's 7. Erkul is showing that there's 4 size 3 Panther repeaters plus the turret one, which I'm just not seeing. And I have guns on all, so yeah, I guess Erkul needs to update their stuff, I guess, unless I'm wrong. But regardless of that, that is a lot of firepower. We can also see that there's military shields on this ship, military grade C full stops, which are fine for stock shields. The nice thing about the military grade shields is we can pump them up pretty high because they're 1 tick increase, so to speak, and they are all size 2, giving the ship quite a bit of shields. I think 18,960 total shield, which is the exact same as the Valkyrie. The big difference between this ship and the Valkyrie, obviously, besides the size of the ship and the cargo size, is that the Valkyrie has, as far as whole hit points, has 90,053 whole hit points. This ship only has 77,000 whole hit points. So it is weaker. It's not as armored, but it's also not a troop transport. Some other possible differences: the Erkul speed on this ship is 203 SCM, 425 boosted with 1,075 max. The Valkyrie is slightly faster, even though it's probably heavier because of the armor, at 207 SCM. So they're relatively close, though. 430 boosted SCM and 1110 for its max. So the Asgard is a bit slower overall. With that, I'm going to go ahead and enable some HUD stuff going on here, and then we're going to take it out for a test flight, hopefully. And let's go ahead and call for the hangar. I'm sure we're in a queue. Maybe it'll open up. Let's go ahead and lift up. Looks good. It's lifted up really nice and even on the lift up. We'll go ahead and retract the landing gear. There's 4 gear. 1, 2, 3, 4. So very nice. So I'm retracting the landing gear. And we'll start to make our way up and out of Area 18 hangar in the Anvil Asgard. Just clearing. And because we're in atmosphere, I'm going to go ahead and switch my VTOL to forward thrust. And we will take off over the daytime of Area 18. And looking good while we do it. So as we're heading out of atmosphere here, the TBM is pretty responsive as far as getting up into where we need to go, meaning the ship is pretty maneuverable. We seem to be, about 200 SCM climbing up through atmosphere. Our corp is a little bit heavier atmosphere. It's certainly faster than the Polaris or the Idris, for certain. Some other interesting facts about this ship is the missile capacity. There are 16 Arrestor size 3 missiles at the pilot controls. There are 2 size 2 Maelstrom power plants, giving quite a bit of power, 24 output of power for this ship. And there are 3 size 2 Arctic military grade C coolers. And by default, it comes with a size 2 civilian grade C Odyssey quantum drive. Okay, so flies pretty good in atmosphere. Looks like 202 is kind of our max. We're gonna give it some boost. See what we can get to. Looks like about 370 before we run out of boost while we're in atmosphere. 375, 376. It's all in all pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and quantum out of here, and we'll check what its speeds are in space. So just hang on tight and we'll be there in a sec. All right, so now we are in space, just flying around with the Asgard. And it looks like we are hitting the 203 for our SCM speed, just flying around in space. Pretty maneuverable of a ship. And I do really, I'm enjoying the paint scheme of this copper. I like it a lot. Let's give it some boost and see what we can get our boost up to in SCM mode. Going much faster in space, of course. Looks like we're in 405 is our max. Pretty good. We'll switch over to nav mode. Give it the full speed test. Give it some boost to help it out. Let's see what it looks like in the back. It sounds really good. The boost effects are very similar to the Valkyrie. It looks like we're hitting 1074, maybe 1070. Yeah, it's pretty solid at 1074. Erkul says it's 1075, and it may be. I may be just off a little bit on what I'm doing. But yeah, we got 1075 there for just a brief second as we completely evened out. So it gets going, and it goes pretty fast. Who knows if it does the speed in on a moon or an atmosphere. So weapons in space, pretty good. And I like the feel when you shoot. It's kind of shaking the ship a little bit. I do like that. We don't have anything up on our radar, which is kind of down in this area here on the screen. And we do have a coolant button, which is a little odd, but you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, overall maneuvering feels really good. Roll isn't particularly beautiful, but for this type of ship and what it has in its cargo, not too bad. Not too bad for its size. I think it's fairly agile for its size. So with that, I think maybe we test it out, take it on some kind of a ground mission or something like that, and see how it handles that. Maybe check out the shields, and so I'll be back with you in just a sec. All right, folks, we did take a couple different missions. This mission is on Lyria. This may be a dogfight, and I do have reshade turned up, so some of this stuff may end up being a little blurry. So apologies if you can't read it. When I get within the 10 clicks, I like to turn my shields on. And yeah, so it's gonna be a dogfight above Lyria here, but we can test that out. I'm gonna go to missiles. Shoot a couple missiles at this guy. Maybe I can turn down some of my reshade so you guys can see better. And I can see better. There's a couple more missiles fired off on him.
Shields hit.
And doesn't look like our missiles hit at all. Oh, we'll see how this ship does with guns. It is quite a bit of guns. I mean, that wasn't a very hard mission at all, but still. You know, they say red is dead. There he goes. All right. So, did really well in a dogfighting mission. Those guns provide a lot of firepower, and I didn't even have, everything was just balanced as far as everything, you know, all the guns and things go. So, let's take our other mission, and we'll get back to you as soon as that happens. That might be a bunker mission. All right, folks. So we are coming in on a bounty mission. Of course, Lyria is very bright with all the white, and I have HDR on, so I'm gonna darken my screen a little bit with reshade so we can kind of see what's going on. I'm gonna turn the shields all the way up. It's gonna reduce my pilot shots by down to 27, but I'd rather have the increased shields. And we'll see what happens when we get down here. I'm sure we might get shot at. Who knows? Go through our 2D clouds of the moon. They look good until you have to go through them, right? But I was just thinking about some of the stealth characteristics of this ship, and it's not stealthy by any means. As you can see, I've already bled off all my stats from Quantum. And while I do have some background infrared radiation, my cross section is at 39.2 thousand, which is really high. So this ship is it's the highest stat on our stealth. So we're gonna be seen pretty far out. So yeah, we're hitting Nine Tails territory. It looks like there's definitely turrets out there. And possibly another ship. I don't know what that ship is, but looks like our target's in there somewhere. It's definitely shooting us. So we'll give her a flyby. It's shooting something anyway.
Shields hit.
See how our shields hold up. About as I'd expect. You know, they're not going to hold up to much fire.
Proximity alert. Starboard.
There's the site over there. And luckily we have hills over here. But we're going to attempt to do what the ship was made for. And we'll come down somewhere and unload the... Yeah, this might be a good spot. Maybe a little forward. See how that goes.
Engines offline.
We'll open our exterior. Looks... I just want to make sure we can get back up that ramp. Looks pretty drivable. Guess we'll find out. All right. So even though this is solo, we will give it a shot. As always, we'll do the turnaround, drop down, and those shields just really don't hold up to those turrets very well at all. Not sure how this is necessarily supposed to be a dropship, but we take what we can get. Maybe armor will matter one day when the shields get depleted pretty darn quick. Okay. Let me turn my engines on. There we go. Power's on now. Let's take the Spartan out. A lot of clipping in the view there. We'll head towards our target right up over this hill. So I'm gonna try to climb these hills, and I'll be back to you with if I get any action, so stay tuned. I should have put lasers on this this vehicle. Ooh. How much ammo does it take to destroy a turret? Apparently almost all of it. Oh, we got bad guys over here. He's gonna mess me up, he said. That's what these things are really good for. I'm quite sure our target's inside. That guy's still here. Three down. Let's, oh, there's another guy over here. Think we can run him over? Yeah, we can definitely run him over. I would consider him DOA. Here's the entrance into the area, looking for other targets. I don't see anybody right now. And you know, if we had a whole bunch of drop troops right now, this would be a good time to tell them to, hey, prep, lock and load. Oh, I'm terrible at reversing. Yeah, I don't think I don't see anybody else walking around, so they need to make a ground vehicle with some PDCs, but I don't know if I want to give CIG any ideas. All right, I'm going to attempt to infiltrate and hopefully not die. I'm not bound anywhere, so if I do die, I'm going back to Area 18. I may stick this on fast forward, just so you can either watch me die or watch me kill Will Adamola. Adamola? Target down, target down. All right, so we got our target. The mission is complete. I'm gonna go loot this place, see what we can find, and I'll meet you back on the Spartan. Stay tuned. So going back up, didn't die. There was only one loot box in here worth looting, and that came with a Citizen Con 2954 P8 AR rifle, and I was able to grab a scope for this as well and a compensator. Don't see any bad guys over there. And I grabbed another scope and some magazines for some stuff and another compensator. So just overall not much here. But now I'm gonna drive this this Spartan back, assuming my troops are loaded up. I'm gonna drive it back to the Valkyrie and take off. I'll see you back on the ship. All right, so we were able to successfully complete this mission. And I think we're basically right where we want to be. Hop out of the Spartan, even though we're thirsty. We took a couple bullets, not too bad. Not really wounded here. And it is kind of nice to have close the ramps over here. Close the rear ramp. Close the door. Close the door right here. That way I don't have to run back and do that. So that is a nice convenience feature. We'll power up and we'll take off back over the turrets again and see how much damage our shields took, and then we'll head back home. Okay, ship is fired up. We'll come up here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We're going to raise our gear.
Landing gear.
Okay, we'll head towards the turrets, which will definitely fire at us.
Shields hit. Forward proximity alert.
And give us some burner, as those shields went down pretty darn quick. As we left its range, it still had enough shields, but they went by pretty fast because turrets are just way too powerful. I don't necessarily see a ship coming in, you know, being hit by turret fire, even with the turret with a gunner down there. Maybe something like a jump town would be a little bit better, but anyway, let's head on out of here, and I'll meet you back at home.
Engines offline.
All right, folks, so let's take a look at the Erkul Anvil Asgard loadout, if you will. Here's what I didn't get about Erkul. It's got 4 CF337 guns here, and then 2 on a turret. So I guess I'm dumb, and that is actually 6, because 4 plus 2 is 6. So 6 pilot guns. One of them's on some kind of a turret that has 2 though, but they're all forward facing, forward firing. This man turret down on the bottom here is the 2 size 4s that the Asgard has, and then it does come with 16 Arrestor 3 cross section missiles. Over here on the shields, it comes with 4 size 2 military grade C full stop shields. Sure, okay, they're okay. Power plants, 2 Maelstrom military grade Cs, which are good in this patch, and 3 Arctic size 2 military grade C coolers, and then an Odyssey civilian grade C quantum drive with an Excelsior jump drive. So some other base stats for the ship as stock. Comes with just under 19,000 for shields, and the DPS with these Panthers is 1176. Missile damage is 40,000 because they are size 3s. So some changes I would make to up the DPS We're going to throw, of course, attrition 3s on everything. Just DPS wise, I think it's the best in the game. And I like the gameplay for laser repeaters. You might prefer something else. But putting all the pilot guns to attrition 3s, it upped our damage to 2346 DPS, which is a pretty significant upgrade. I would also upgrade the man turret guns to attrition 4s, so those are pretty expensive. For the missiles, I don't hate the arrestor 3s, but the chaos 3s do more damage, so I would probably replace all 16 with chaos 3s, and now our missile damage goes from 40,000 to 53,000, even though they are probably easier to spoof with flares. The shields, so it comes with these military grade Cs, and we can't kit any other military components because you have to either earn them or get them as a reward or something like that. But 4740 for shields is really good, and you're not going to beat it in the civilian, the competition, you can beat it with other military or stealth market, but the industrial shields, if you get the grade A ramparts, that's 6,170 hit points per shield. So probably worth going and grabbing some ramparts for this. They're just more shield hit points, and I'm sure that will change. Things get rebalanced in the future. But they also do require 4 power, whereas the military full stops, you can do like a single pip at a time. The industrials do require a certain amount of power, a block of power. So maybe you just go 2 and 2, and that may be a compromise, but we'll leave them all as ramparts for now. It's not going to be great for power. Looking at the maelstroms, 2 size 2s is fine. I do think with 4 shields, 3 coolers, all these guns, it probably needs another power plant. So I would urge CIG to probably look at throwing another power plant in there. But with 20 power generation, militaries are really good. And I don't think anything really beats it other than a better military power plant. If we threw a JS400 on there, we would get 21 and 21, giving us a little more power. But the best we're going to get is these maelstroms. They do require 19 cooling. Now, some of the competition drives or power plants do give us the same amount of power, but they require 21 cooling. Military only requires 19 cooling. Wonder what the difference is up here on shields. They're the same, so it's the same. It's just you can do single pips. So again, I would go back to ramparts. With the coolers, I think they're fine with military grade C. But if you wanted to be more efficient with cooling, you could go with the ice dives. Those have 4640K versus the stock Arctic, which has 5200. You'd probably lose out on a little bit of cooling, but it would be more efficient. So maybe just upgrade one of them with like an ice dive. You see our cooling efficiency went up. The weapons went down because I don't know why. Let me reset that. Yeah, interesting how that worked. The Arctic requires 4 power. The ice dive only requires 3, so I'm not sure why the efficiency went to the red. Interesting choice. Honestly, probably best to just leave it as military. We'll do that. The quantum drive's definitely going to upgrade. We'll go with the civilian Chimera drive. It is a civilian grade A size 2 drive, much faster than the Odyssey, and it will recover faster, so you'll be able to spin up, spool down. And we'll leave the jump drive because that's really all that's offered. So this is a full upgrade. It will affect how many shots you're going to get, but your shots are going to have more DPS behind it. If we throw all these stock items in the cart and look at how much this upgrade costs, it's going to be pretty significant. 1 million alpha UEC, mostly for these attritions. The attrition 4s are definitely not cheap, and those rampart shields are pretty expensive as well. So $1 million to upgrade. I would recommend that. maybe keep 2 of the military shields. Maybe swap out one of your coolers. But the choice is certainly yours. Looking at the basic stats for the Asgard, 203 meters a second, picture roll of 33, 28, 95. It's very similar to the Valkyrie. It's a little less agile than the Valkyrie, and it's a little slower than the Valkyrie. And the Valkyrie has 90,000 hit points. The Asgard has 77,000 hit points. But what you're getting for that is you're getting way more cargo. You're getting double the cargo for just a little bit less speed, a little bit less maneuverability. And really, you don't have those drop seats. And we'll see how the game and how we as consumers react when we're coming in to a drop zone with 3 turrets going at you, because you saw how fast 4 size 2 shields got lit up. Maybe we'll get a little more with the ramparts and someone down in that turret shooting at them, but it's going to be hit and run tactics to be able to land near an outpost like that. So going over to SC Ship's Performance Viewer, it's just a different look. It's nothing that you're not going to already see on Erkul, but I do recommend this site to people because it gives you looks at current patch performance, estimated flight time. The Asgard isn't fantastic in flight time, to be honest. If we look at it, it's let's see, its quantum fuel is 1.85 SCUs and its hydrogen is 97. So it does have a little bit more longevity than a Valkyrie, but neither one of them are that great. It has all the rotation speeds and all this stuff, and then you can compare it to a previous patch as well, and then swap out guns and stuff. What I wanted to do is compare the Valkyrie, which is in the red, to the Anvil Asgard, which is in the blue, and we can see what we've already talked about. The Valkyrie is just a scotch faster, but really pretty much the same. Valkyrie has quite a bit more on up thrust and down thrust as far as the VTOL is concerned. The rotation speed, again, pretty close. Boost multipliers are really close. The shields are the same. We know that the Valkyrie has more hit points on it for the hull. The total health pool, the Valkyrie is just higher. It also has one more part that it's going to break off. As far as stealth goes, the Asgard's actually just a scotch stealthier, which is weird because it actually is a bigger ship. The Asgard is a little bit heavier as well. Not too much heavier, but a little bit heavier. The Valkyrie, it looks like internal storage is much higher at 4,500 compared to the 1,500 micro SCU that's in the Asgard. But the cargo grid is much larger on the Asgard. And the Asgard has much higher radar emissions as well. And we talked about it has a higher fuel tank capacity, and it burns fuel slower than the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie will burn fuel faster. The boost is really about the same, and the Asgard has a smaller claim time, at least for now. So these are all highly subject to change. So let's go back to myself in a hangar, and we will wrap up the video. Thank you for watching and going through the loadout with me. All right, so all in all, a successful couple of missions. I was able to do a little bit of dogfighting, very light dogfighting. This is definitely not a dogfighting ship, and successfully get through a bunker mission with a big ground vehicle, which we took out there and effectively able to solo. I mean, would it be more effective if I was in a tank? Maybe, but regardless of that, I did solo it, and it was a pretty easy bunker mission, but it was effective. I was able to get it done. Ship didn't take really any damage, very little. The big repair bill was in the cost of replacing missiles, which are insanely high right now. Hopefully that'll be fixed in the future. I do like the Asgard. I melted my Valkyrie a little bit back because the pack I bought came with a hoplite, and I am a fan of the Vanguard series anyway, and I don't need 2 dropships like that, like dedicated troop dropships. But I could all, and because I got rid of my A2 when I bought the Dominus pack, which came with the Idris, I don't really have another really large cargo ship besides something like the Raft to put things in. This is nice for that purpose. It's also nice to be able to carry large ground vehicles in it. So all in all, I say thumbs up. CIG did a good job with this ship. Is it a daily driver? I don't think so. It does move well. It handles well. It's got good pilot weapons. It's got a lot of shields considering it's size 2. It's got some stuff going for it. I don't know. With engineering gameplay coming online, there appears to be only 2 fuse panels to maintain, and so it's a fairly solo ship. The extra crew is really just for engineering or that bottom turret. But I think a lot of people are going to end up soloing ships that are similar to this ship, right? Like they only have a couple fuse panels. Soft F is a thing. And you know, if I was to get boarded, I don't know, I'd probably get inside the Spartan and try to have some insulation there. Maybe I don't know, maybe man a door gun and shoot people as they EV8 over, something like that. A whole lot of gameplay opportunities are opening up soon. So hope you enjoyed the review of the Anvil Asgard, the Asgard. Neat ship. Is it worth $350? No, it's probably more like $250, but it is what it is. And I had store credit. Let's just say that. And now I only have 1 redeemer in my fleet versus 2 redeemers. And who's going to use 2 redeemers? And I have a loaner for a different ship. So with that, I'm Fist-25. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Subscribe to our channel. That stuff is free and it helps us out quite a bit. If you want to engage us with any comments, we try to answer everything. And I guess we'll see you in the next one, which may be at 4.2 whenever that decides to come out. Maybe that'll have a ship, maybe not. We'll see. Other than that, we're going to be doing some streams. So don't forget to tune in to the B Team stream, the B Team, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And Java with Jawa, which is the more laid back stream usually. That's on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And with that, I will leave you to the Anvil Asgard. How many out of 10? I'd probably give it like a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for likability and usefulness. With that, I'm Fist-25. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Good night, Stanton.